Hey, everybody. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. I was trying to figure out who you were.
Okay. Sorry, thank you. I'm on the highway. I'm about 45 minutes out. Stuck in traffic.
Want to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Okay, let's call to order this November 20th, 2025 Urban Renewal Advisory Committee meeting. It is 5:32. We have one member online. Clint is on there. Jen, I don't know if you'll need to remind us how you can raise your hand when you're using the phone. I just certainly don't remember how to do that. If Clint needs to chime in.
I think he could just talk whenever.
Okay. Yeah. So first order of business is anything from the audience? Do we have anything from the audience today?
Don't see anyone signed up.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, great. And no one else online. Moving along, agenda additions or corrections.
None to note.
Okay.
Mhm.
Approval of the meeting minutes from September 18th. There was one thing I think on page 4 that was some little like unwieldy typo kind of language. About, it's like 2 paragraphs up from the motion on page 4 of the meeting that says there was unanimously supported immediately moving forward alternative number 1. I know what it means. Yeah, I know. But I figured maybe we could make that clear.
Yeah.
But other than that, they looked good to me. Anybody else have anything? Okay. Okay, then do we have a motion to approve the, oh wait, no, that's, I'm reading the wrong thing.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the 18th of September.
Great. You have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye, Clint?
Hi from the phone.
Okay. All right. Moving along. We now have the regular business items. I will let you take it away, Will.
Great. Thanks, Chair Hoffman and members of the advisory committee. We have a contract award for your review and recommendation to the agency board for an owner's representative for the Heights Streetscape Plan implementation. So we have our qualified pool list, and we use them to take MIG and just keep moving on initial designs for the first 2 projects in the Heights Streetscape Plan, which are relatively minor, kind of looking through projects to do enhanced crossing on Taylor and with bike ped improvements in order to keep moving as quickly as possible. But the entire project, Heights Streetscape Plan, is going to be over $70 million, and that just includes the roadway work, not even undergrounding and the wet utilities. So we also saw the need to have bring on an owner's representative, which is a common construction services service that can provide kind of the coordination of engineering and construction oversight to pull all the different pieces together as we move through the projects that we'll need to be doing on an as funds available basis, but also must be from finish to end, fully integrated and kind of holistically thought through and planned. So while MIG was doing some of their just initial work, we got going on an RFP for an owner's representative. We issued the solicitation in August. 7 firms registered, and we had a really good turnout for our pre-proposal meeting. 2 proposals were received. I think one thing about the owner's rep is they are our fiduciary agent, and so any firm that becomes our owner's rep cannot do any of the construction work. And so really only project management firms ended up responding versus kind of all the other engineering firms that may be qualified but really want to be bidding on the work itself. So we got 2 proposals, and I'd say both were very strong. The city engineer and I reviewed, scored, did interviews, and ultimately recommended Shields, Oblitz, and Johnson, and specifically Dan Naughton as our designated owner's representative, supported by Alice Cannon. I think what really pushed them over the top was exceptional references. So contacting their prior work, which for SOJ and for Dan includes renovation of parking garage and retail in downtown Portland, which was for an urban renewal agency. And then also the $215 million extension of TriMet's Red Line, extension of the Red Line, but also adding a track over, additional track over on the east side. And you can imagine that requires close coordination with ODOT, and then even in their case, the railroad, all while keeping services running through a very massive project. And so that seemed like a great fit and analogy for kind of how complex our Heights Streetscape Plan implementation will be. And like I said, just had excellent reviews from Prosper Portland, which is Portland's urban renewal agency, and then also TriMet. So selected Dan, and then also supported by Alice Cannon. Alice has had years of experience in city management, urban renewal, and community development throughout Portland Metro and out here in the Gorge, and has assisted the city of Hood River with several consulting projects over the past few years. So very much a well-known quantity to the city. And she's going to be supporting with communications and also grant identification and solicitation and general kind of strategic advisor. So the contract before you is for $350,000 over a 3-year period with the potential of 2 one-year renewals, but will be on a time and materials basis. So it will just be billed as work is done with the billing rates in the contract. And so that's a really great fit for our project, which has, some initial construction work to get done immediately, kind of as quickly as we can, but the rest of it being contingent on grants, other funding, bonding, any other source of money that we can pull together. So generally, I think, having Dan on now at this beginning stage will just be really beneficial as we accelerate and deaccelerate and start and stop and make sure that this has kind of a steady hand at the wheel and coordinating the mindset to coordinate through the whole thing. So with that, I'll pause and see if Dan or Alice wants to introduce yourselves or talk at all. Anything I missed? Yeah.
So hello everyone. I'm Dan Naughton. Appreciate all the great things Will had to say. And
Alice Cannon, Cannon Planning Services.
This is the microphone right here.
Sorry. I didn't necessarily have anything prepared, but I am a partner with a small project management firm in Portland, and we only focus on project management and owners representative services. This project in particular appealed to me. While I live in Portland, I recreate in Hood River, around Hood River all the time. I just love the area, just also the ability to help revitalize the Heights for the city. So I'm really excited to get started, and happy to answer any questions or folks afterwards. I don't know if you have anything else to add.
I hired Shields, Oblitz, Johnson in the early 2000s when we were working on our first, in the city of Milwaukee, the first public-private partnership deal there, North Main Village. It was a mixture of retail and housing, both low income, medium income housing mixed with ownership townhome housing as well. So have a lot of confidence in Shields, Oblitz, Johnson, and I just love the Gorge. I love urban renewal as well, And the thing that kind of keeps my blood flowing is being competitive and trying to win money with ODOT. It's really hard, I think, if you're outside the main part of Region 1 for ODOT, which is around Portland. It's hard to get their attention, and I love grant writing. I love just pursuing funds, and so I'm hoping that I can add some value there to the extent that you need it.
So there's a suggested motion in your packet, but yeah, I just wanted to open up for any questions you have. I think.
I have a quick question from the road. Well, thanks for putting together the materials for us and for your great candidate choice. Read all that and really appreciated it. I have a question about the timing. Is what percentage, and this is a question for you, Will, what percentage do you think will be completed at 3 years from now? Is that reasonable to think we're 50% done at that point, or is that?
I think it's reasonable to think that we'll have the first 3 projects in the Heights Streetscape plan done. We have the cash on hand to do the Taylor Avenue connection, the enhanced crosswalks on Taylor and A Streets crossing 13th, and then also the sidewalk and median improvements along 13th. But that's really the only thing that we have line of sight to right now, because the next project after that is the roundabout. And really everything is waiting on that roundabout, and that roundabout's going to be, about $16 million. So that's what we have to solve. So we'll be working on those first 3 projects, getting them done as quickly as we can, showing folks some progress in the Heights and seeing some improvements, some tangible improvements after all the years of planning work. But yeah, we're laser focused on how we're going to get that roundabout in. And your guess is
so I guess I guess it was looking at the fee for the advocate for 3 years, and then to be extended by T&M into what really is the bulk of the project. So maybe they can answer that better than.
So 300
work ahead of time.
Yeah. So I think
for the roundabout.
Let me know if this answers your question. Maybe I misunderstood you, but the $350,000 is a not to exceed amount, but the actual expense will just be on the time and materials basis. So if we run out of money after the first 3 projects, then we run out of money after the first 3 projects. We're not obligated for any more contract spend.
I see. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have 2 things. Nice to see you guys. This is great. I've had the opportunity to work a little bit with Alice, and so I'm happy with the team. Sort of like Clint, it's sort of, as we have sort of a start and stop type of project, how do they say this is about what I'm going to work on this month, and then you say, yeah, and then they submit a bill? Or, I mean, how are we watching that flow of dollars, I guess? Yeah. I understand the not to exceed, and I understand, I mean, we're all on the same page. So, but are we sure that when we're a stop, everyone knows we're at a stop, and things like that?
Yeah, I don't think we worked out the exact details of the work order process. But at minimum, Dan's going to be brought in on our bi-weekly meetings with MIG as we meet to do the 30% designs. So that's in the very near term, how often we'll be meeting. Right. And then I think it'll just be a close communication, as there's maybe a grant to go after, or getting meetings with Pacific Power and Lumen and all the other overhead utilities. That's actually, I guess, one thing we can be working on quite a bit, even ahead of the roundabout, is getting an undergrounding strategy together. But yeah, I'll be authorizing the work and reviewing and approving the invoices on a monthly basis.
Right, and sort of a milestone basis kind of thing, at least for the construction management stuff or the oversight. And then for grants, sort of the same question is like, Alice will provide it. Here's what I think is a good plan, and then we'll say, all right, yeah, see if you can get those ones and like that.
Yeah, exactly. And a little bit, it's kind of a chicken or the egg a little bit too, because they are the strategic trusted advisors. So
Right.
so Dan, I'm going to be relying on Dan quite a bit to advise how much work should we be putting into utility undergrounding and planning for that now
Right.
versus later.
Yeah, and you want Alice to go find grants, but
Yeah.
then, how do we manage the actual turning on the gas? It seems like it has to be interactive anyway, right?
Yeah. Anything to add?
I mean, I think I think we'll hit on it. We definitely understand this is going to be a very phased project dependent on funding, with starts and stops. But like any project, it's just going to take communication, and we're going to have to be on the same page and transparent about what we're pursuing at any given time, right?
I did buy a Powerball ticket today, so by tomorrow sometime we should be good.
Well, every project has a cycle and every phase of a project has a cycle. And so you kind of get the rhythm of things as you're working through it. And get pretty good at knowing when you're going to need to devote a lot of hours to something. And then you might communicate with the project manager about it. And one of the areas I just wanted to say as a client working with Shields Oblitz Johnson is that I found really valuable was that my project manager, her name is Kim, she's still with the company. She would keep these items in the parking lot that I needed to remember that I didn't remember. But okay, we need to be paying attention to this right now, or these things. And she'd keep a running list of things. And I imagine Dan's going to do the same thing, that as things progress, then other things become more important. And then you kind of get a rhythm of what needs to be done when. So, okay.
Yeah. So.
I just wanted to say, I appreciate both of I was looking at your projects and what you've been involved in. You definitely have a lot of urban and renewal experience between the two of you. And my office sits on the Central East Side when I'm in the office, streetcar line. And I like that you have some gorge experience on your team as well in the Dalles, some exciting projects. So it's really good.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? No? Okay, well, there is a suggested motion. We're ready for that. If anyone would like to make the motion.
I move the Urban Renewal Agency Committee support the award of the Heights Streetscape Owners Representative Contract to the Shields Oblitz Johnson.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Clint?
Yes, for me.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. This is exciting. Looking forward to seeing more of you. What's next on our agenda here? We've got, you have another item of discussion, the moderate income revolving loan fund.
Yes, thank you. So this is a program that the agency could choose to take on if we'd like to. It is a state program that was recently created. I think I have the bill reference in here. Yeah, Bill 1537 in 2024. And essentially what it does is it creates parcel or property specific or development specific urban renewal districts. I don't think they knew that they were doing that when they were creating it, but that's kind of exactly what they did. So a moderate income development, which can be affordable up to 120% of area median income. So this is much more flexible funding than other state sources, can receive a grant up to the value of the tax increment that they're going to produce over the next 10 years and basically get all that money in a grant to them today. And then the state loans that money on an interest-free basis to the local jurisdiction. So local jurisdiction administers this project, says, yes, we have this grant program and we want to provide this grant to this individual. The grant is sized based on the amount of tax, new tax that is going to create. The state loans us the money, we give it out, and then the state is repaid by the tax increment that that development generates over the next 10 years. Is basically how it works generally. It gets you can go down a rabbit hole on all the details on this, but that's kind of the broad brushstrokes. And Big River Community Land Trust they've almost completed their first home over on Tucker Road, but they're working on really their big project is a 45 unit development over on Avalon Drive, and that's using the land trust model, where Big River Community Land Trust will continue to own the land underneath, but they'll sell the homes at a discounted price because it's just the home. And the homes will forever be regulated in how much they can go up in value. So whenever they change hands, there's some limited equity appreciation for the homeowner, but it's not just kind of with the market. So they're kind of become permanently affordable. And Big River Community Land Trust is hoping that we will set up a moderate income loan fund program, or MERL program for them. And based on what we know of their projects so far, it'd probably be, I think I have about $845,000 to $945,000 grant. And the agency, if we administer this, can take 5% of that for administrative costs. So that'd be maybe about $45,000 to the Urban Renewal Agency for administering this. So we're the folks who kind of have the ability to do this. So that's where the city would be looking to us to administer this on their behalf, and we would have our costs paid for by the admin. If we're successful and we get the grant and we get the admin costs, it wouldn't become any burden on any of our districts, because this development doesn't exist in any of the urban renewal districts. It would just be offsetting program income to the Urban Renewal General Fund if we want to do it. And it would be a big help to the Big River Community Land Trust. I can definitely dig down into the details of the MERL, but maybe I'll just leave it there at that kind of higher level. And just the goal here is to get your input on whether or not you'd recommend spending agency bandwidth and focus on creating a rural program here.
I think this is a wonderful opportunity, and I think we've sort of discussed this previously at another meeting, that the way that we have things set up with urban renewal, like you said, is set to handle managing the situation.
Yeah, I'll second that. I think it's a great idea. It's another tool in the toolbox, and more people on the team to make this idea work better. It's a terrific idea.
I just had a question. I definitely support the idea. Being that Big River, I assume, is a nonprofit, does this, in this case, does the land get, like some nonprofits, does the improvement get taxed, but it's tax-free on the land, or is there, I just was curious.
Yeah.
Maybe that's off topic.
No, that's great. That's totally on topic. So right now the land is owned by a church, and the church has sold Big River Community Land Trust a purchase option. I don't know if they had to pay for it, but basically they've got a purchase option agreement on the land. So land currently is non-taxed because it's a church, and it will continue to be non-taxable under the land trust ownership. The improvements will be taxable, and that's the tax increment anyways, the improvements. They will be probably not valued at market value. And in my estimate, I already accounted for that.
Great.
Yeah, it's a new thing for our county assessor, valuing a land trust type building.
You anticipated what I was getting at. I was curious how we estimated the increment and what components, so the values are not that of a market rate home necessarily.
Right, yeah, I discounted it to what it will actually transact at, and then applied the, what's called the
Change property ratio?
change property ratio. Thank you, yeah. Mhm.
Thank
I
you.
was, like I said, we can get really into the details here.
So I'm supportive of the concept as presented. I think it's just another tool. Have you looked at what happens when things really go sideways, or if they really went sideways, if Big River is halfway done and then they just go away? Is there any scenario where the agency all of a sudden owes someone $1 million?
Yeah, or no, thank you for that question. I was like, that's something I spent a lot of time working with Alicia back and forth that, I'm glad you asked, because I like our solution. We could just give them as at a check, like in pre-development, and I think that's what it's kind of meant to do a little bit, because that's been kind of your first dollars are your hardest dollars. But then, yes, that is the risk of the program, is you give the grant out, they never build, and there is no tax increment. That's the risk. But I asked Alicia, who's the executive director for Big River Community Land Trust, is it workable for her to receive the grant in tranches at the same schedule that they receive their construction financing? So a construction lender, when you get a loan to build something, they don't give you the check on day one. They watch as you build, and as you build, you get disbursements from your construction lender. And so I asked Big River Community Land Trust, does it still work for you if we follow that same method? So I would only give out the Merle grant as they have built taxable value.
But the agency isn't a co-signer or countersigner or protector.
It would be the city, actually, a sponsoring jurisdiction. But yeah, so if they, I guess, so the repayment source is taxes. Tax increment, just the same as an urban renewal district. So them defaulting is not like is not them paying us back a loan, it's them actually defaulting on their property taxes. Would be the case of default, and in that case they would go through foreclosure and tax sale, and so maybe would be out the money for a little bit, but only for as long as you can avoid your property taxes.
I'm not trying to bring bad luck on anything. That's for sure. And in fact, I guess our job is to say, this is a great idea. And then the people that make the big bucks can.
I think these are great probing questions as to whether or not it's a good deal.
So I like it. Thanks.
Another proposed motion as well. Right.
I love how it's written out. It's nice. I move that the Urban Renewal Advisory Committee support the Urban Renewal Agency's administration of a local moderate income revolving loan program.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Kate, I think your mic's off.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. Sorry. I hope I'm loud enough you can still hear all that. Okay then. And I gotta scroll back to the top of my agenda. Now it's time for the administrator update.
Yeah, I just have a few bullet points, just keep you updated on in-progress projects. The Jurisdictional Transfer Advisory Committee, ODOT's advisory committee for doing jurisdictional transfers continues to exist and to meet. And even though we weren't their recommendation, which did make it into the transportation bill last go around, the transportation bill was not successful. They reopened for new applications, so I resubmitted for the Heights, just to let you know that. I believe in January they're going to hold meetings, and it'll be like a chance to present to them again. But I have no doubt that will be recommended second time. Just don't know to what effect that will have, but might as well. Just update on bonding, the city going for a bond. Next step is polling. And so we're have a contract going to the city council on Monday with recommending Praxis as a polling agency. And so they're gonna do poll, hopefully get 400 respondents and gauge interest in the various bond policy packages that the council has looked at, see about the voters' general appetite for kind of what they see as a manageable tax rate, especially given that the Parks District and School District will likely be going out at the same time. And then also get some gauging of how much pre-development work they expect to see before a bond ask. And so that's kind of just some preliminary polling that we'll bring back, but affordable housing is very much in the mix. And so that would likely, you know, if that made it into the bond, and then if the bond was successful, I think that could really jumpstart some work out on the west side.
I had a question, Will. So this is a voter approved, bond has to be voter approved. Some urban renewal agencies, they can do bonding without a voter approval, but this one does require that.
Yeah, it's the city. City would be
A city.
putting on the kind of working towards the November ballot. Yeah. I have also just let you know that the Heights and the Mount Adams proportionate share districts have been fully adopted and are in effect. So as development puts trips into those intersections, will generate some additional resource for those improvements, both the Heights and the Mount Adams. And then also let you know that the cities, I'm not sure if I've discussed that the city received a transportation growth management grant from ODOT to do planning work along Cascade Avenue, similar to what we've done in the Heights. We thought that that was going to be moving very slowly, but it's actually accelerated quite a bit. And the deadline for proposals was today. So we'll see how many responses we get. I'm on the review committee. It'll be a city contract, but very much of interest to the West Side District. So it's going to be streetscape improvements, just like the Heights, but there's also going to be a land use component of it. Similar to, if folks remember, the waterfront overlay kind of a deal. So mixing of not just streetscape, but also maybe some land use changes. So big project. I'll keep you all in the loop.
That's ODOT driven?
It is a ODOT grant. Well, it's an ODOT DLCD, a joint grant called the Transportation Growth Management Grant.
Got it.
I think it's what helped pay for the West Side concept plan too.
And so it'll be city planning run.
Yep. Yeah. But I'll have a seat at the table. I think I'm going to be on the project committee. Yeah. Great.
All right, thanks, Will.
Thanks.
A lot of exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. Any items from members today? No, Clint, anything from you?
No, but I really am excited, Kate. This has been so long in the works, and see it coming together so nicely. It's really exciting. Really happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to be on this team. I'm sorry I'm not there.
Next time.
I'm getting close.
We'll see you soon. Okay, great. Well, if there is nothing else, then we can adjourn this meeting at 6:05 p.m. Thank you.
A little different.
Thanks.